Hello everybody, and welcome to the very last Hyperdrive Inn Devlog episode of 2023. For this video I made a recap of the year 2023, so let's get going. The year 2023 is drawing to a close, so I thought it would be a good idea to go through what we were able to accomplish. I also have very little new material to show you guys, as the holidays have cut the workdays short and I've been mainly focusing on debugging for the past week. So let's see some old stuff then. This material is from the first prototype of Hyperdrive Inn. I had the idea of using the building blocks of local news with Cliff Rockslide as the base for my next game, but this pixelated look didn't feel right. And because I have zero skills in 3D modeling, I would have been forced to use ready-made assets for the characters and environments for budget reasons, which in turn would have resulted in boring or extremely mismatched visuals. I banged my head against the wall with this one for a month or so before deciding to go with the current 2D look. This version of the game also relied on a completely different codebase created by yours truly, which would have severely limited the possibilities regarding gameplay. Local News with Cliff Rockslide is a visual novel, but I wanted Hyperdrive Inn to be a bit deeper in the terms of gameplay. I wanted to make a classic adventure game for a very long time, so the shift in the focus felt quite natural. While the game is still somewhat narrative-driven, it also includes solid point-and-click gameplay with actual puzzles. Linking the narrative and gameplay has provided the most interesting challenge in terms of game design. I don't want to have any superficial puzzles that exist only to block the player's progress. Each puzzle should be linked to the story somehow, which isn't as straightforward or obvious as you might think. But it's great fun. Designing and implementing puzzles has been the most rewarding part of the development. After ditching the pixelated low-poly 3D graphics, I had hard time figuring out how to do the visuals of the game. As other indie developers can most certainly agree, budget and schedule are two things that are never enough. And because the game relies very heavily on randomization, there needs to be a lot of content. I needed to find a way to produce that with a very limited budget. While I'm not a 3D modeler, I'm also not a 2D artist. Because of this, I opted in on a simplified look. I used a similar approach on one of my previous games, Good Morning, where the bulk of the graphics was made from heavily edited photographs. I wanted to explore this rabbit hole a bit deeper, so I decided to try texturing the sprites with scanned fabric samples. It proved to be a very useful approach, and it also gives the game a unique look. It also makes the asset production relatively fast. Although I've been making games for quite some time, I never had the patience to build a solid technical base before starting the actual game development. This has yielded less than desirable results, so now I wanted to make things a bit different. For the first 3 months of the project, I spent on making a solid foundation. When all the key assets that run on top of Unity work together as they should, actual development is so much easier. If there are any aspiring indie devs watching, this is probably my most important tip for you guys. Make sure everything works before you start adding your own stuff. It's boring at times, but it'll pay off, trust me. The most important aspect of the project is the people I'm working with. I was able to convince some serious talents to work with me, and the results speak for themselves. While I do some of the graphics myself, the heavy lifting is done by Kriina Rytkönen and Henri Tervapuro. These two are extremely good at what they do, and I'm very grateful for having them in my team. One of the core elements of Hyperdrive Inn is audio. Film and game composer Juhana Lehtiniemi has created a spectacular score for the game, and it really lifts the whole thing to another level. Big shout out to Alex and Adrian Poski at Urso, who have taken the majority of marketing and management from my shoulders, which has given me time to work on the content. This has been a huge relief. In terms of numbers, I completed 31 levels this year, and there's 23 left to do. I was able to meet my end of the year goals a week ago, which made it possible to catch my breath during holidays. Now I'm fully charged for next year, and I'm already eagerly waiting to continue working. If you want to experience our Infinite Hotel firsthand, go download the demo on Steam and maybe even add the game to your wishlist while you're at it. And thanks again for watching. If you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing for this channel, it would mean a lot. And Hyperdrive Inn is already on Steam, so you can go ahead and wishlist the title. And we also have a demo of the game, so you can visit our Infinite Hotel right now. All the relevant links can be found in the description. But that's all for today. I see you guys again next week and next year, so until then, bye bye!